Friends, have you ever paused to wonder who truly holds the strings of global power? We often assume that leaders of nations or tech titans like Apple, Google, or Microsoft dominate the world stage. Maybe you think about presidents, kings, or billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. But what if I told you that the most powerful entity on Earth isn't a government, isn't a president, and isn't even a household brand you hear about every day? What if there is an organization so vast and deeply connected that it quietly influences everything around you without you even noticing? Welcome to the One Eye channel, where we uncover the truths hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving into the story of BlackRock, a company whose name sounds like a mysterious stone, but whose power is harder and heavier than any rock on Earth. At first glance, BlackRock might sound like just another financial firm, but don't be fooled. BlackRock is not simply a company, it is an empire of money, data, and influence. Imagine a vault so large that it can hold the wealth of nations, steer the direction of world markets, and decide which companies rise and which ones fall. That's BlackRock. To understand its power, let's start with one mind-blowing fact. BlackRock manages over $9.3 trillion in assets. Yes, that's trillion with a T. To grasp how massive this is, picture every single rupee, dollar, or euro you've ever spent in your life, and multiply that by millions. BlackRock's assets are bigger than the GDP of almost every country on Earth. Its money flows through governments, corporations, pension funds, and even the savings of ordinary people who might not even know it exists. Think about it. This company controls more wealth than the economies of India, Japan, Germany, and many other powerful nations. With that amount of financial muscle, BlackRock could buy entire industries before breakfast and sell them by dinner. T is not just rich, it is a financial superpower that can shape economies, influence policies, and quietly pull the levers of global trade. So how did this mysterious empire rise to such staggering dominance? The story begins decades ago with a vision to create a company that would manage investments for others. Instead of manufacturing cars, building skyscrapers, or selling smartphones, BlackRock focused on something far more strategic: managing other people's money. It doesn't just own its own fortune, it controls the fortunes of others' governments, banks, corporations, and millions of private investors. When the world goes into crisis, BlackRock doesn't collapse, it thrives. During the 2008 global financial meltdown, when many banks were sinking like ships, BlackRock emerged as a rescuer. The US government hired this private company to help stabilize the financial system. The same story repeated during the COVID-19 pandemic. While economies struggled, BlackRock's influence only deepened. It is the rare player that profits whether the market is booming or falling. This unique position gives BlackRock a kind of power that goes beyond money. It becomes the quiet advisor to governments, the trusted partner of central banks, and the invisible hand behind market decisions. When countries need emergency funding, when giant corporations need strategic investments, or when massive pension funds require management, BlackRock is there ready to move billions or even trillions with a single decision. But money alone doesn't explain its reach. BlackRock operates in over 30 countries, with offices in more than 70 locations, and serves clients in nearly 100 nations. It is everywhere. From New York to London, from Tokyo to Beijing, its network stretches across the planet like a web of financial control. Its influence flows through sectors we use every single day: food, energy, technology, transport, healthcare, entertainment, and even the steel that builds airplanes. Check the shareholder lists of the world's biggest companies and you'll find BlackRock's fingerprints everywhere. It holds major stakes in corporations that shape your daily life. From tech giants like Apple and Facebook to car manufacturers like Ford and banks like JP Morgan, BlackRock quietly owns pieces of them all. Whether you're buying a smartphone, booking a vacation, watching a movie, or even brushing your teeth, chances are some of your money is feeding into BlackRock's empire. This is why many people call BlackRock the company behind the curtain. Its name rarely appears in headlines, but its presence is felt in every corner of the global economy. It doesn't seek fame or publicity. In fact, it avoids it deliberately. When you own stakes in media companies, you don't need front-page stories. You simply shape the narrative silently. BlackRock holds shares in major media networks, giving it a quiet but undeniable influence over the information we consume. Let's pause and ask a critical question. Is BlackRock dangerous? Some analysts argue that it is merely a service provider, a giant financial manager that earns fees by investing money wisely. Others warn that its scale makes it too powerful to ignore. When a single company can influence governments, guide central banks, and invest in everything from fossil fuels to cutting-edge technology. Where does the line of accountability? Another layer of its power lies in data. Through its advanced investment technology platform, BlackRock gathers enormous amounts of financial information about companies, markets, and even individuals. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about understanding global trends before anyone else. When you know where money is flowing, you can predict market movements, influence corporate strategies, and even anticipate political shifts. Knowledge is power, and BlackRock's data is a treasure trove of global insight. Every time you use a bank account, invest in a fund, or even buy products from publicly traded companies, chances are some fraction of that transaction touches BlackRock's network. Without realizing it, billions of people are feeding information into the very system that gives this company its extraordinary advantage. Despite this, BlackRock remains largely invisible to the public. Why? Because staying in the shadows is part of its strategy. Fame brings scrutiny, and scrutiny invites regulation. By avoiding the spotlight, BlackRock keeps its operations smooth, its relationships strong, and its influence unchallenged. Governments rely on it, banks trust it, corporations depend on it, and ordinary citizens remain mostly unaware of its existence. But as BlackRock's power grows, so do the questions. How much control should a single company be allowed to have? Who monitors a firm that manages wealth greater than the GDP of most nations? Can any government truly regulate a player that operates across borders, beyond the reach of any one country's laws? These are not just financial questions, they are questions about democracy, sovereignty, and the future of the global economy. If one private organization can influence everything from your retirement fund to your country's monetary policy, where does that leave the average citizen? Friends, the story of BlackRock is not just about money. It is about the invisible architecture of power that shapes the modern world. We often think we live in an age of freedom, where our choices are our own. But the truth is, many of our daily decisions, from the food we eat to the technology we use, are subtly guided by corporations operating quietly behind the scenes. BlackRock is the ultimate example of this hidden influence. Whether you admire its brilliance or fear its dominance, one thing is clear: BlackRock represents a new kind of global authority, one that doesn't need armies, borders, or political offices. Its weapon is capital, its shield is data, and its battlefield is the world economy. So, what can we do? The answer is not to panic, but to stay aware. Knowledge is the first step to empowerment. Understand where your money goes. Learn how financial institutions operate. Ask questions about transparency and accountability. The more people understand the systems that govern their lives, the harder it becomes for silent giants to grow unchecked. BlackRock may never trend like a celebrity or campaign like a politician, but its impact is far greater than any headline. It is the quiet power behind the products you buy, the news you read, and the markets that decide your future. And that is why it matters. Friends, this is the untold story of BlackRock, the silent giant shaping the world from the shadows. Stay curious, stay alert, and never stop questioning who truly holds the power in our world.